you and Tupac were really close.
Mm-hmm. That was my dog.
I remember there was this one interview that he did where he said that, you know, he was talking about the shooting situation and kind of what he felt that Biggie wasn't helping him with that situation. And he compared it to a situation that you were in LA, and he helped, you know, kind of fix that.
You gotta realize a lot of times in the game or in the streets, you gotta have the right people in your corner to have sit downs with certain people. Cause it ain't just gonna go away if you just be like, well, nah, I'll avoid somebody or whatever. Like, it's been a lot of altercations, especially the 90s. The 90s was the Wild Wild West. Like, you get down, it was bar fights. It was like anytime you go in, a lot of times you had to fight your way in and out. So a lot of times we done ran into real live people and then had to have sit downs. I've been at the front end of sitting down and putting homies together. Pac has a whole line of our soldiers. So definitely we have instances where we had to have real gangster sit downs. I mean, it basically was a barroom brawl type thing that went on, and it was some gangsters, gangbangers that was involved with it and wasn't after us, but they was just in there to trip at the night. But it was words out like we were talking and all this. So we had to sit down. We had to go in the middle of Compton and have a sit down with the homies. And that's just what we did and squashed it. We had a couple of meetings because we had to hit different levels of realness, you know what I mean? The way we do. We had different colleagues. It wasn't just one person that come. We had different homies, real life homies, that was going to make sure every level of everyone knew that it wasn't nothing popping off. It was all good and everything was gravy.
Part of that same conversation, you know, Pac felt that, you know, Biggie didn't really have his back like a friend was supposed to. I mean, how did you feel, you know, being in a similar situation with Pac and being, you know what I mean, in that same story? How did you feel, you know, about that?
I mean, when you're in the game, you got to realize everybody is not even in tune or in touch to talk to certain people. I think Pac gave Biggie a little bit more street cred, like as far as, you know, Biggie was a great entertainer, but he wasn't the one that was in the streets calling shots like that. You know what I mean? He had a lot of, it's like, we got a lot of entourages, a lot of people through the years, but it's like, wasn't nobody in our entourages calling the shots on what we was doing. You know what I mean? Everybody knew it was a unit and everything else, but a lot of times you had kids around you don't know, and you might be intimidated by them yourself, or you can't talk to them. They end up doing something that's looking like you withholding information or keeping the codes. But if you got a homie, you supposed to always let your homie know, you know what? These dudes, watch them, don't be around. Or if it's somebody around that I don't trust, or usually, I mean, I don't be around people like that, but if I'm knowing my people's going to be around, I'll let them know beforehand. That ain't the party you need to be at. That ain't a studio session. That ain't an individual you need to be around. I know this dude from around the way. Stay clear. That's what you do. You know what I mean? So the specifics about everything that went on, I just knew it was more or less Pac looks at everyone and wants them to be as upfront and real, or have as many connects as him, when it's like everybody don't have it like that. So everybody can't react the same way. And certain niggas is not on the front line like that.
And you said in another interview that if both Biggie and Pac had lived, that they probably would have worked it out.
I mean, definitely. It was two. You can't be that big in the game at the time in the 90s. They were like two of the biggest out there. And at the end of the day as well, Biggie and Pac was businessmen. And they know you can't make no money when you warn. Everybody knows that, streets or industry. If you warming and mess up money. So at the end of the day, I think they would have ended up having a compilation or a EP together that would have been one of the biggest selling albums in hip hop history. Definitely.
I remember there was an interview you did. It was on the red carpet somewhere. And, you know, after the interview ended, they put the camera down, but I guess it was still recording. And it sounded like you said, like, the last time you saw Pac was in Cuba.
Nah, I smoke a lot of weed. I don't remember that far back.
You know, Tupac did study Machiavelli, and Machiavelli was someone that did fake his own death.
Yeah, Pac was a jack of all trades. He could pull off a lot of things. I mean, I'm loyal. If I know anything, won't nobody else know. If he wanted to be seen Or if he wanted people not to think he was here, I'm rolling with him in whatever he want to do.